to focus on yourself and what brings you joy. You come to life to enjoy it. That's a fact. You don't come to pay the bills. You don't come to please your boss, your kids, your pet, partner. You don't. You come to enjoy what you do.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome to the show, friend. I am so excited to have my new best friend, Viso, with us today. We are going to talk about enjoying your day. Now, I know you probably have tons of moments of enjoying and tons of moments of frustration and tons of moments of just being so busy we don't even know what we feel. But how can we start taking all those things that happen in our lives and find a way to go, I had a great day. Today was a great day. How do we look at all of our experiences up and down? It's a roller coaster ride. Can we love the highs and lows and the transition? Where is it that trips you up? Makes you kind of wonder, is it even worth it? Why do I even get out of bed? How do we look forward to the day? How do we wind down and say, oh my God, this was great? So Viso is here to help us have the best days of our lives starting right now. So before we get started, we're going to get a quick word from our sponsor. And when we come back, Viso, help me have the best days of my life. We'll be right back. Hey, since I rarely have openings in my coaching schedule, I have a new resource out there on my website. It is called the BFF Coaching Network. And I have offered a spot there for any coach that has been on this show to list their coaching. You can go out there, you can listen to their episodes, you can feel a little bit about them, and then choose a coach that will work for you. So LaraJaneLayton.com, the BFF Coaching Network. All right, Viso, help me and our friend figure out how to almost always have a good day. I think there's value in having a bad day every once in a while, but not all the time.
You need the bad days. You need bad days. And they're going to be there no matter what. There's no avoiding those.
There's no avoiding them, but we can enjoy knowing what's happening. So how do we do that?
Let me tell you to begin with, it's not about having all the time, like 24/7, a good time and enjoying everything. That's not possible, again. But everything you do, there's a way to enjoy it a little bit more. And when you enjoy more, whatever is it that you're doing, a little bit more, you're having a better life. It's as simple as that. It's like math. No, if you have good days or better days, you start having a good life or a better life. That's the way it works, one way or the other.
Yeah, but how do you do it? Crap happens, and I wonder, why in the heck is it all happening to me? How do we change the way we look at the not so good things and still enjoy it?
Well, I think it begins by actually recognizing that you're not enjoying as much as you would like, or that you are having these situations or these problems or these, whatever you want to call it, and realizing first that they are part of life, and second, that you have an option to decide how to approach them. And I can give you tons of examples, but I'll give you an example for me. I was diagnosed with cancer 4 years ago. Very, very bad cancer, advanced stage, whatever. They told me, and life immediately, you can actually say, well, now we have a problem. There's everything surrounding cancer is terrible. And I had two options, whether to say, okay, I have cancer and it's terrible, and go out of life feeling sorry that I have cancer and being mad and it would be justified because life threw that at me. And everybody that tells you, okay, I have cancer and it's really sad and bad, you would say, okay, that's valid. You can be sad and mad. But I said, you know what? Okay, I do have it, and I choose to really focus on what I'm doing good and that I have good. My family is good. I feel good. I have these. Whatever makes my mind shift out of that negative cycle, that's the way you start looking about life in general. It's not about the problem that you're facing or the problems or the situation. It's not about everything that's happening outside. Again, life happens and sometimes it's not good or many times. But the way you approach that and the way your mind talks about that situation to yourself, that's what you can change. But first, you have to recognize what's happening and what's going on.
Okay, so I'm trying to think, how is it even possible to do all this? So I'm sitting here, I'm at my desk, wrapping up to go home. I got an event to go to, and my boss walks by and says, I need this by tomorrow. Can you take care of it? And I look at it and go, God, this is at least an hour, hour and a half. And then, of course, the way I estimate it, probably end up being 3 hours. How do I go and be happy about that when I need to run off and take my kids to whatever event they're going to? And my mom just called and she needs help, and my friends needed me to go to yoga with them. And how do I enjoy being pulled in 30 directions?
Again, it's not about being happy about it. You're not going to be happy about that. Of course, it's going to say, oh my gosh, all the things that I need to do. And my boss suddenly came with this. But the way you can start saying, oh my God, this is terrible. And I knew this was going to happen. And my boss is a jerk and blah, blah, blah. And you can keep that way of thinking and it's going to ruin your day, basically. That's what's going to happen. And you can keep at it. And again, you're right. It's not about being right or wrong. You can keep at it or say, okay, it happened. What can I do right now to feel a little bit better? Whatever it is, there's many ways you can shift your mind towards something else. And you can start, again, not going down that negative cycle and say, okay, let me take a 5-minute break and listen to a joke from a stand-up comedian. What is it that you like? What makes you enjoy? Take a cup of coffee, grab a chocolate bar, whatever brings you joy. Remembering something brings you joy many times. But you need to create that mind shift because if not, again, you just go down the cycle. And I use the same example because it happened. But okay, you get diagnosed. The doctor tells you basically you're going to die because you have cancer. What do? Do I keep thinking that I'm going to die? We're all going to die. But the way I thought about it was, okay, I might die of cancer or I might die from something else. What I'm going to do is try to enjoy whatever I have left of my life and live better. Because I don't know if it's going to be 10 months, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. So I choose consciously to say, okay, I'm not going to focus on that situation that I have cancer. I'm going to focus on enjoying what I'm doing right now. So if you get to that perfect example you give, okay, I'm about to go on my bus come. Okay, how can I think about that problem differently? Find a way, because that trains your mind not to go that negative cycle. And that's something that's a fact.
It reminds me of that country song, and I don't even know who sings it off the top of my head, but the words in it like live life like you're dying. And it's like, take advantage of it. If you're not going to be here, like really, if tomorrow was your last day, what would you really do today? And
It,
it's like your perspective on life changes because your priorities shift. And so how do we shift our priorities now without that threat of dying? How do we say, I am a priority and I'm going to do something for me? I'm going to tell my boss, hey, I have things to do. I'm not your person today. Eh,
that's one of the options. And that's exactly when you realize that you normally would tend to say, I don't have an option because I need to take care of my kids and to take care of my husband. I have all this pressure in me. And I understand what you're going through. But you always have a way to choose different. You can say no to your boss, or you can say, yes, but I'm going to have it by tomorrow. I'm going to have it 2 days. Why? Because I have to do this and that. And what's the worst situation that could happen? They fire you immediately at that moment. That normally that's not going to happen. It happens in your mind, but that's not going to happen most of the times. But you're so fixated, oh, I cannot lose this job. If you focus on that, of course, that brings the negative cycle. But if you choose to say, okay, wait a second, what's going on right now? This is what's happening. And your mind starts to go through that process. Oh, I'm going to get fired. If I get fired, I cannot do this and that. Stop. Take a minute, breathe. Whatever you do or you like doing that you enjoy, do it. And that'll help. What happens when you go that negative cycle is that normally you don't find all the solutions that are available. You just see it, I need to do it because I cannot lose my job. I cannot risk that. When you start thinking, okay, wait a second. There are options. Let me find out first, can I do this for the next 2 days or I can't because I have to do this or the other? There's always a way. And your mind doesn't help if you don't make that mind shift. It doesn't help. And you need to focus on that. You need to practice on that. The same way you practice to eat better, to exercise better, to work better, to enjoy, it's also a habit you need to make. You cannot enjoy just by the say, I'm going to enjoy today. No, you need to work on it.
That job, that task that gets dumped on you at the end of the day. How do we start responding in an empowered way and not like, I think the reason that I always got those jobs is because I do them. Like everybody else has gone home. Let's give them to Lara Jane. It's like that's why you get them. So, how do we start building a boundary that says, I would have loved this is a fun assignment. I would have loved doing it if you'd have brought it to me 3 hours ago, but I've got commitments tonight and I can't help you. Is there someone else or can you wait an extra day? If you take the time and you write down those things that taking away the time from you and you create a response now when it's not happening instead of just this deer in the headlight look of I'm froze. I guess this is what I'm doing. Now I'll spend 10 minutes juggling the rest of my day so I can take care of you. It's that preparation. It's that time that I've spent choosing how to respond. And then it comes more naturally. But if not, you're screwed.
And if you see it practically, why is your boss telling you to do that? Because normally you're the person that's going to do it. Because there might be other people that can do it, but normally they would say no. So your boss goes to the person that he knows or she knows it's going to do it. So in the end, it starts by that. There's an exercise I do on workshops and coaching that you put all the tasks that you do daily on a personal and professional, depending on what you're doing. And all those tasks get on a scale of whether you enjoy them or not and whether they are difficult to do or not. And each of those tasks, you can shift them and take them to another part of the graph by doing something different. Like every time I get an assignment out of hours, task that I don't like and it's difficult. What can I do to change that? I can put boundaries. So if you separate all those tasks that you do, again, in your job, in your daily routine, whatever, and you find a way to make those tasks a little bit more enjoyable by whatever way you can do it, that starts changing also the way you approach them and the way, in this case, your boss will approach those. That's also something that happens.
And I really focused on that boss because I think that's what would do the surprise things the most. But it happens with our children. It happens with our
With everybody.
pets. Well, they break their leg and you got to run. And It all comes down to priorities in my book. It's like, what is my priority? Is it just the roof over the head? Work becomes our priority because of the money, not because of anything else.
And
It's a little about
that's,
how we feel important, but I got to pay the bills.
you do, everybody has. But what, there comes a moment again, and I love what you said to begin this sentence. You said it happens with your boss, with your kids, the same way your kids normally, if you have two parents and they know that you're always going to do whatever you told them to do, no matter the time, they'll go with you. They won't go to the other parent. It's exactly the same with the boss. He knows who to, I mean, and if you're the boss, you'll do it the exact same. So the kids also know about that. So the only one that can put the boundaries and say, okay, wait, it's you. You cannot go through life like that because everything you do is based on that premise that, well, I need to do this because if not, I cannot eat. You're never going to find what I call, it's not peace, but stability in what you're all about. You need to focus on yourself and what brings you joy. You come to life to enjoy it. That's a fact. You don't come to pay the bills. You don't come to please your boss, your kids, your pet, partner. You don't. You come to enjoy what you do. And if you suddenly find yourself that you're not enjoying most of the things you do, something needs to change, but you need to recognize that. And if you intentionally put your joy and your fun and your life on the second level because you need to pay the bills, it's something I would argue against because you don't come, you're not here in this life to pay your bills. You have to pay them. That's a fact. I'm not saying, oh, don't care about, no, but you don't, that's not the main focus. That's not your purpose. That's not what you're here for. Because if you die tomorrow, oh, well, it's great. I pay all the bills. I always pay the bills. I had a shitty life, but I paid the bills. That's a life you really want? You don't. You
Oh,
don't.
I love it. It is. It is so much like that. And
And
yeah,
again, you can focus on that, Laura Jane. You can say, but you need to sacrifice because no, you don't. You don't. And that's the beginning of all that process. When we say we don't have time, I don't have time. You always have time. It's not about time, it's about choosing how to use that time. And you can choose to decide, well, my main priority and my purpose is to pay the bills and to bring food. And okay, if that's what you choose, normally you're going to have a very hard time and you're not going to enjoy what you do. But even if you choose that, the tasks and what you do on a daily basis, you can do it a little bit differently to enjoy it a little bit more. And that's, again, it's a choice.
yeah, and it's so crazy if you just take those moments to understand what your priorities are. You know, understand what is it that's important to me? Is it my yoga class? Is it my meditation? Is it my dates with my husband? Is it watching my kids perform? What are those things that bring you joy? And make those your priority. And that's when you start planning how to respond to protect those
Exactly.
priorities.
Exactly. Like, I can tell you what changed when I was diagnosed, and that's become my mantra. Oh, every day I wake up and I say, it's what to do and with whom. If I do what I want or what I like with the people I like, I have a good day. And I cannot do that all days. Again, it's impossible to have 100% happiness and joy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you're focusing on enjoying, you can leave or leave that negative cycle and that terrible moment easier when you're already focused and your mind is already trained to focus on enjoyment and whatever is it that doesn't take you to that negative cycle. If you're always focusing on every cycle, I don't have time, I'm busy. You'll remain that way, and you're going to be busy and not enjoying the rest of your life, no matter if it's 10 years or 15 years or 2 months. And that's what you need to think about. How am I living? Again, you said about the terminal day, if you need to live. There's a guy in Brazil, and he's a very, very successful in terms of the way we see it, that I don't agree with it, but that's another topic we can discuss some other day. But he's a successful entrepreneur, multimillionaire, whatever. And he decided to do things differently. And he began by having a terminal day every other week. What that meant is, what if tomorrow is my last day in Earth? What I want to do about it? So he took that day and do whatever he wanted to do. He could take a trip, he could go to work, he could not. And he respected that terminal day immensely. And that changed his way of looking at things. Because he said, if it's my last day, I don't care if my factory is burning down. I don't care about it. I just want to be with my kids, or I want to be in the mountains, or I want to be whatever is it that you want. And that changed the way he approached many things. And that actually changed the way he managed his company. And it's a great story, but that's exactly the point. It could be your last day. So again, it doesn't mean that you need to go, I need to go to Vegas and do this and that and whatever. No, it's not being irresponsible, but it's, what do I like to enjoy? So if it is my last day, no matter what, I enjoyed it a little bit better. I was not thinking about, I need to pay the bills. I need to do this. My boss is a jerk. You don't need to be thinking about that. You can. And it's easier to do it, to be honest. Focusing on that negative cycle is very easy. You don't need to force it because it comes naturally, because your boss is a jerk or you whatever. It's easy. You don't have to do anything internally to change that. You just need to blur it out. But when you focus, or to say, okay, this is terrible, but I can think about this good thing or do this, that's more difficult. And that's why many people don't like doing it. Because the easy way out is, I'm busy, I don't have time. That's easy.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about this terminal day, and it's like, how long would it take me to get to a point where I really could not think about tomorrow? Like, if tomorrow didn't exist, what would I choose today? What would I do? Well, call on my friends, tell them how special they are, or text them. Would I go clean out the storage?
No, but it's a good exercise. And some of those things, why don't you do them every day? Why don't you call a friend every day? Why don't you text a friend every day? Because you enjoy it. Why don't you do it? I'm busy. You're not that busy. You choose not to text. Yeah. And you can do that for whatever you're doing. There's another guy that does this. He says, what would you do? How would your life be today if you had, tomorrow I give you $10 million? And everybody says, oh, I would do this and that. And why don't you do it? Because I'm busy. I have to pay the bills. Well, why don't you try to create a life that you really like and you really want, and not the opposite, not let the real life dictate how you need to live? And it's a whole different approach. And it's an approach, it's a choice. In the end, it is a choice.
And I think we understand it's a choice. But we've been so programmed that this is the way life is. To be successful, you need to go to the office every day. I mean, not everybody feels that way. Some people are really good at working 3 to 4 hours a week and being successful little entrepreneurs. But I love going to work. I love that external person going, you did a good job.
How do you define success? And
Yeah.
that's the beginning of the problem. Because if success is making a lot of money and have an amazing job title, you're screwed. Because first, there's not enough amount of money that it's enough. Because if you earn 500,000, then Somebody else is making 1 million and you want to make 1 million. It's a never end game. There is no end game. So what is it that really success means to you? And honestly, it begins with that. Again, to me, it's not, I want to make money for sure. I want to do, but I'm not focusing on making money but just for the sake of accumulating and having more money. Because that's not, but we've been taught like that. And I understand how we think, but how do you define success? How do you begin to define success? And normally we say, oh, he's successful. Why? He has a lot of money. Oh, okay. He has a shitty life, but he's successful. He makes a lot of money. Do you really admire that person because he made a lot of money? I don't. Honestly, I don't. How did he make a money? What is he creating? What does he stand for? And that's a successful man, and not somebody that just has a lot of money or he's the CEO, he's successful. I don't think she or he is successful because she or he got this job or he's making this amount of money. It doesn't. For me, it's not.
And I love this. How do I define success? Because it really uh, is so distorted from being our upbringing. I don't know if I could honestly say I have something in my brain that says this is what success is. I know I feel successful because I feel like my children have become successful citizens of the United States.
That's success. No,
you
but
know,
it's as simple as that. Because why do you find, and again, it gets confused, but I'm not meaning to say that making money is bad. Not at all. But why do you find people that don't make a lot of money very happy? And why are they successful in their lives? Because they have a good relationship with their kids, with their wives, with their friends. They have all of these amazing life and they are not making millions. And they are successful. But you don't talk about them because they are not successful in the terms that we've learned that we were taught. But you just said, I feel successful because my kids, that's great. You are successful if you think you're successful because what matters to you is taken care of. But if you go through life, again, we talk at the beginning, like, I'm busy. There's never time. My boss gave me this. Oh, once again, I cannot go to yoga. And you think that way. How can that translate into success, even though you're having a good job and you have a good salary? How is that successful if you're not enjoying at all what you're doing? You're just cruising through life. You're not enjoying life.
it reminds me of a challenge that I recorded a while back that was about really deciding how to right now, and it just lost my mind. I was trying to explain it. Let's just keep talking and I'll come back to that when it comes back to my brain. But but it is, it's all these things about success. And we get to pick. We get to pick what makes us feel good. And the only thing you want is external validation that you're successful. You're never going to feel it. If
Never,
you're
because
waiting
there's
for
no end
someone,
game.
yeah, they're going to tell you, you're going to hear it, you're going to feel it. But if that's the only reward you're looking for, you're relying on somebody else for your happiness. So, how do I start rewarding myself? How do I start telling myself, good job? How do I start telling myself, hey, I had a good day? I was telling my husband this last night. I was like, oh my God, today was a great day. And I don't know what I did different. Now, like, I always have good days, but when they're great, what it was that little extra spice. What was it that I did that just tipped it a little bit from good to great? and,
And
and
those are the small details that make a difference. But you need to focus on them again. There's another thing we do, it's called the joy. What brings you joy? Of course, you can talk about happiness on a deeper level and enjoyment. It comes from purpose and many things. But to begin with, what brings you joy? So you create your joy file. It gives me joy to eat a chocolate bar. It does. A coffee. Talk to a friend. Listen to a joke. Listen to a song. What brings you joy? Tell me 10 things that brings you joy. Why don't you focus on 2 of them every day? Why? I don't have time. Again, we come back to the beginning. You do have time. There's no way you don't have time, but you need to prioritize. Again, what you do when you talk about, again, nutrition, exercise, whatever, you prioritize that. And I need to put in my routine. I need to do my exercise. I need to go to work. I need to finish the. That's a priority. Okay, why don't you prioritize having fun or enjoying? Why? Who says you're not permitted to do that? And we become these adults when we become adults that we really believe that fun and joy and all of that, it's second nature because that's not what you came for. You came to provide to your family, and no, that's terrible. That's not living. That's providing, but it's not living. Why shouldn't you prioritize having fun and enjoy your days? Why? Because somebody says it's not correct? Because it doesn't mean at all that you're irresponsible. No, you have to be. You need to work. You need to do all the things that you tell me you need to. You have to. But who says you can't enjoy them? Who said that? And we believe that that's the case, and then we start not enjoying, and that's why you have so many people with mental problems and stressed out, and because it's not a priority. Yeah, I don't have time. I cannot. I cannot focus on that. Yeah, you can. For sure. If somebody that's dying can, everybody can. It's always a choice. Again, even people that are dying, that are terminal for whatever illness or whatever, of the same people, imagine dying. One of them is feeling terrible, and he would live his last days feeling sorry and mad. And it's, again, I understand that. I don't judge that. I get it. But the other one chose not to. If that's the case, everybody can do it. And you find cases like that, even with jobs. The same job. Imagine, tell me the worst job you can imagine. There's 2 people doing it. One of them is at least enjoying it more, and the other one is feeling terrible. It's always a choice. It is. But you have to, again, recognize at the beginning that you can choose how to approach that life or that problem or that situation you're living. You can. It's not easy. The easiest is to go down the negative cycle. You don't have to put any effort into it. It comes natural.
I grew up, and I know a lot of us grew up in a society that values busy. You are cool if, oh my God, I worked 20, 30 hours today and I got 1 hour to eat and now I need to sleep. And oh, I am so cool.
Yes.
We boast about the busy because that's what makes you feel like you had a successful day. But I think we really need to boil down to that self-reflection of what really makes me feel good inside. Not just the busy, not just the I don't have time. I know that is a cop-out answer to everything. But when we say everybody has the time, we all have the same 24 hours a day. But some of us prioritize and make sure that our priorities are taken care of first, and then the not so important things. And if your priority is watching an hour of television at night, that's important. Do it. If
Of
your
course.
priority is visiting friends, that's important.
Do it.
Do it. And so, how do we start figuring out what our priorities are? And I say self reflection, meditation. How do I start identifying those things so that I can reprioritize really what's important? My job's always been at the top, but it's really not. I go to my work for other reasons, not for work. So what is the
That's
real priority that's driving you there? Oh, because I have to have a 5,000 square foot house. Mm, yeah.
Look, I love because you have always like these answers already that I'm your job or these recording a podcast. You can see, oh, I need to record a podcast. It's a very popular podcast, so I need to keep making money out of the podcast. And you can look at it, oh, I'm going to have another interview. And you can see it as I have another recording, another interview. That's what I need to do, and that's it. Normally, you won't enjoy that. But if you approach it, I'm going to meet this other person, I'm going to learn about what he's doing, I'm going to do this, you enjoy it more. And it's the exact same job. And when you die, again, if you die tomorrow, nobody's going to remember that you were busy, that you made a lot of money. Nobody. The only thing your family, your friends are going to remember are the experiences they had with you. That's it. And if you had no experiences because you were busy, nothing's left. Honestly, nothing is left. The only thing you leave behind are the experiences you had with the people you enjoy the most. That's what people remembers. Oh, he was so busy. Nobody's going to say that. Ah, I remember him. He was the busiest person. It's the top busy person I've ever met. No. You remember when we did this? Remember when we laughed about it? That's what they remember. So whatever is it that you enjoy to create those experiences in your life, that's what you need to focus on, and you really need to focus on. And that doesn't mean to take the focus completely out of the other stuff, because you need to pay the bills. Again, you do. But why don't you focus on the things that you enjoy? And you said self-reflection. That's even a second step that many people don't even want to get there. And I understand. But create 10 things that you enjoy every day or you enjoy in your life. Whatever it is, play the guitar, listen to a song, write those down and practice 2 of them every day. 2. That'll change. How do you wake up? No, most of the people put the alarm and the alarm goes bang, bang. That's not a nice way to wake up. Why don't you put a song in your alarm so you wake up with a song? It seems like a stupid thing, but it's not. Those simple things that you do every day to focus, like I wake up with icy skies, I put a song. So when I wake up, it's not, oh, another, no, I want to keep listening to the song. And it brings me memories of nice moments. So I wake up normally in a very good mood, honestly. So most of the people put the alarm, then they listen to the news. You cannot start a good day by sounding an alarm like bam, bam, and then listen to the news, because the news are going to give you normally negative things. So you start that day like that and you're rushing and you forget it. You already start your day on a complicated moment, let's call it that way. And it's the simple things that you can choose to do every day that will change your day for sure. And it does, they do.
And I remembered that other episode I was going to reference, and that was setting the minimum of my priority. I have a son. I have 2, but I have a son that is a workout junkie, and in a very positive way. I mean, he's a health coach. He does lots of amazing things, but his physical health is a very high priority. And what I like about this is, yes, he goes to the gym 99% of the time, but he has a backup plan. If something comes up and I have to skip the gym, what am I going to do? Because this is my top priority. And he's like, I'm going to do this many push-ups and this many sit-ups, and that is my minimum. And when we do that to our bodies and our brain, what we're doing is we're saying, this really is a priority. This is really a priority for me. And so if you have that backup plan, you're able to honor your priority. And we start actually following, or you feel like it, you really want to do it. And so that backup plan, because stuff happens, is important because you want to make sure those priorities stay at the top.
Yes. And again, it's priorities. And they might shift every day and every week. Yeah. But again, we are here to enjoy life. That whatever you tell me, you're not here again to just live and let's see what. No, you're here to enjoy. What is it that you enjoy? Oh, I hate working. Oh, well, you need to work. It's not about, yeah, I would love to play golf all day or go surfing. No, you cannot live like that. But I need to work. It changes when I need to work. Well, I work and this is what I'm doing to make that work a little bit better. Again, every time my boss comes out at night, I'm going to say no. And you say no. And in the end, very few times something bad is going to happen the way you were thinking about it because you're in that negative cycle. Yeah, again, I cannot get fired. You do choose. It's a fact that you can choose. And you need to prioritize and consciously do what you enjoy at least some moments in your day. You have to. And why shouldn't you? My question would be, why shouldn't you? Let's say you don't have to. Why shouldn't you? Because you, why? Give me a good reason why you cannot do that.
I'm too tired. I've
Yeah,
heard that
no,
a lot of times.
I know. But again, I understand it. Again, that's I don't mean to sound like it's rude, but it's the easiest way. Again, I'm talking, I've met, I don't know, all of these years, good, close relationships with cancer patients. And there's always an option. And many of them are having a terrible time. And again, you cannot say, oh, no, you should do this. No, I understand that they feel terrible, that they are sad. I perfectly get it. Most of the people that don't, because you don't have cancer. But of those people, there's many of them that choose not to focus on that. And trust me, it's a lot of effort to put in your mind to feel good about, not feeling good about cancer, but feeling good about yourself and doing your life and continue with it and doing whatever you can to enjoy more every day because you never know if it's going to be your last. Yeah. But you don't know if you're going to be your last. Our friend doesn't know if it's going to be her last. Who knows? Nobody. So again, I'd rather spend whatever is it, the amount of time I have left, at least enjoying a little bit more, not focusing on feeling bad and being tired and being busy, and because it doesn't help me at all to enjoy more my life.
So if we were to wrap it all up, I mean, how do I enjoy life? I'm so busy, I don't have time to sit down and do all these things.
By prioritizing and focusing one step at a time on the things you do enjoy. And first, you need to define them. And it can be, again, as simple as having a cup of coffee. And you said it at the beginning, text my friends. What would you do if it was last day? I would do this and that. So those are the things you enjoy. Why aren't you doing them? Why don't you text a friend every day? Because I don't have time. You do have time. Put it in your calendar. Put in your calendar 4 minutes to text my friends. It's in your calendar. It's already in there. Then you'll do it. But you need to focus and consciously do it. It's not going to come by manifesting or just saying, oh, tomorrow I'm going to have a great day and enjoy my day. No, it doesn't work like that. You need that, but you need to put the work behind it.
Yeah, and that thing that you feel like is your most important, like your job, break it down. Why is it the most important? And if it's the money, what is it that the money gives you? Because those are the things that are at your top priority. And if it's keeping 30,000 subscriptions to different TV shows, I don't know
I
how
agree.
many prescriptions that we have, subscriptions, not prescriptions, to channels that we watch once.
Yeah,
And if I just had none of that, maybe I wouldn't have to work so hard because I wouldn't have to pay all those bills. So, what is it when you break it down to that very last minute of why is work the most important? Money. What does money do for me? shelter, food, blah, blah. How do we make those our priority instead of the job?
And then if you choose to that and you have and you want to pay all those subscriptions and expensive bags, that's fine. That's really fine. And you need the work to do it. Okay. How do I make that work more enjoyable? And you also separate all the things that you do in that job. Well, like in a podcast, I edit, I'm not going to edit anymore. So how can I make someone edit for me? That's a difference. So now I am enjoying more. There's always different ways to approach every task you do in your life, no matter what task it is, or I don't want to call it task, but it's a task. So in your job, you have 10 different things you do. What is it, the ones that make or are the most stressed or make you more anxious? How can I change them a little bit? Or how can I do the other ones much more enjoyable? So then it brings you closer to enjoying a little bit more every day you go to work. And again, you can find all sorts of examples like that. Garbage man. You see garbage men singing, wearing their earphones and singing. You have other ones being pissed all day because they hate their jobs. And you can say, yeah, I understand what they hated, but why is the other guy having a good time? He chose to have a good time. It doesn't mean that he likes doing it, but he chooses to enjoy. And so he listens to something or he jokes with his whatever. So there's always a different way of approaching that thing that makes you not liking what you're doing or enjoying what you're doing.
So simple, yet so complicated.
Exactly. Yeah. You nailed it. That's a wrap up. It's so simple, but it's complicated. You need to put the work in it and you need to recognize it and say, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And then consciously doing it.
Good. I love it. This has been great. So many great ideas. We could pull out a million little snippets of this podcast of wisdom and stuff to share. But I'm not going to do that because you've got it all. Let's talk about what, Viso, tell us about you. I know you already told us about your cancer and stuff you do, but what is it that you want to share with our guest? Not our guest, our listener. And how do they get a hold of you? And then out of all these snippets, what's that one thing should we try?
I'm a completely regular guy that had too many difficult situations in my life. Plenty of them. I can tell you stories all around about terrible things that happened to me. And I'm here. I'm happy. I do enjoy most of my days. I have terrible days, and it's part of life. And I do believe that they can find me. I created a space that I'm launching actually. It's called Joyful Living Lounge. And it's all about that, enjoying and finding a way to enjoy. So they can look at it and Facebook is Joyful Living Lounge, or my website is experienceviso.com. And in Instagram, I also experience Viso. And I think one thing that I would leave again is choose and prioritize joy in your life. It's, you put it that way, it was a wrap up. It's as simple as that, but just you need to do it. What is it that brings you joy? And focus on it every single day as you focus on the rest of the things that don't bring you joy.
Focus on the things that do and figure out how to let go or enjoy the
Yep.
ones that don't.
Yep.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been
Thank you, Laura
fun.
Jane. I loved it. Thank you very much.
Just a lot of wisdom, a lot of, it sounds so vague. Just enjoy your day. But it is that simple. Just enjoy your day. Crap, I just broke my arm.
And enjoy
Enjoyable
the
about it.
moments. Enjoy different moments.
Like,
Uh,
oh, I get
if
to do something new today. I get to go sit at
Yeah,
the AR for 4 hours.
imagine you have a 14-hour workday, which is very okay. Start by enjoying 10 minutes of every day. 10 minutes is better than not enjoying anything at all. Then increase it to another 10 and then another 10 in the afternoon. That starts to compile, and then you end up enjoying maybe an hour out of those 14 hours. That's a difference. It is.
And I'd like to add something you brought up earlier that I think would be a great challenge is that terminal day. Pick one.
It's an amazing,
If you can't do it every week, that's okay. Pick a day. Maybe it's just your birthday. And
agreed.
always celebrate it like it's your last day. Or just,
What would you do?
yeah. And identify those things. What is it? Because I really think that little process can weed out the weeds and get you
Agreed.
to the true priorities of life.
Completely agreed. Yeah.
So thank you so much, friend.
Thank you, Laura Jane.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Friend Viso and I are not medical or mental licensed professionals, just people that have been through stuff and would love to help you enjoy your days. So thank you for joining and stay tuned for the next episode.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Laura Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.